This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Carrying on a beloved Thanksgiving week tradition. Welcome back to another edition of Hometown Heroes on Family Life. I'm Mark Webster, and this week's guests are Nate and Alex Johns, sons of Buffalo area pastor Eric Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center, now carrying on their dad's 25-year tradition of spending Thanksgiving week with the homeless on the streets of Buffalo, part of the family's year-round ministry to them, and something his sons have been doing for as long as they can remember.
My earliest memories personally are probably him taking us out for part of a day. Well, I mean, we always had the memory of him leaving for homeless week and getting ready, getting all of his stuff by the front door and the sleeping bags and stuff and heading out. And then from a pretty early age, he would take us out for just part of the day, let us go to a soup kitchen on Thanksgiving Day with him. Obviously, we weren't going out the whole week and spending the night then yet, but we were pretty young. We were pretty involved from a pretty young age.
Yeah, I agree. We just grew up ever since we could remember of helping the homeless people, helping people in Buffalo, and through the ministry here at the church and everything. And so growing up doing it, it's kind of like your earliest memory is like your first memory. You know what I mean? It's like that's all you remember. But it's honestly a privilege. And then to just kind of keep carrying it on and keep doing it along with Dad and taking more responsibility. It's fun. 2 years ago was our first year without my dad. It was interesting, right? Because Pastor Eric, my dad, he would always organize everything in a sense. He'd always make sure we're going to go here at this time and here at this time and do this and do that. And we have these people coming. And so we actually spent the night for several years before that. And so the first year, I don't know how you would explain it, but the first year for me was it was without Dad, so it was a little more like you had to be a little more aware of what you're doing. But it was also kind of an honor in a sense, because everyone knows Pastor Eric, the man that lives on the streets with the homeless, where now it's like, oh, you're his sons. And we encountered that a lot that week. Where's your dad? And they're like, oh, we're taking it over. And they were, wow, that's so awesome. It's an honor.
Definitely that first year, he was kind of looked at as that crazy guy. What are you doing? You have no idea what you're doing. But some people definitely helped him out with that. And it started off as simply to raise money for Boxes of Love, because that's what we do. We give presents to all these kids every year for Christmas that normally wouldn't wake up to a present, that really have nothing. Their family situations are really bad. They don't even have a lot of food in the house. And we were just trying to make Christmas special for these kids through Boxes of Love. And that was it was an idea. Let's go live out on the week for the streets. It'll attract a lot of media attention, and we'll be able to raise money for these kids that need presents. But over the years, it's become so much more than that. Now it's not just about, while that is still a big part of it, now it's the raising awareness for the homeless population and just people. It just shows that my dad's a very normal person. I know it looks like we do a lot, but my dad's a very normal person, and anyone really can make a difference. They just got to take that step and give it a shot. But yeah, I don't know, the impact and the lives that we've been able to share with, and people's lives really have been changed because of this week and what our church is doing, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, obviously it had to make a big impression on you.
I grew up around this, so I did always have a different kind of view on life than other kids my age and other kids growing up in Buffalo, and it definitely just got to meet lots of different people and learn about lots of different experiences and appreciate what you have. And I don't know, it was very different because we grew up in it. Going out on the street, I'll definitely say my dad was definitely the face to recognize. So, but we've kind of been getting that the last couple of years a little bit more, that now that we don't have him with us, we don't always get the initial, oh, you're Pastor Eric, this is your week. But we've kind of been noticing that little by little, and just that transition of taking it over and being kind of the face of things. Well, I'm more of a background guy. It's not always my favorite place to be, but I do appreciate, and it's just been a privilege to be able to take this over for my dad and keep it going on.
What is the impact of doing this every year? And it's not just for show.
I agree. It started off as, like you said, just to simply, like Nate said, raise money for toys for children that wouldn't wake up to a toy on Christmas. But now it's become something so great. I always say it's like we're raising awareness for the need in Buffalo. Obviously, there's a great need in the homeless population, but there's also a great need in the families of Buffalo. And there's families that there are Christmases where they're going to wake up, no toys, no food. In the Buffalo Dream Center, we want to be the outlet where they can wake up to toys and food, you know? And so doing this week, it's an interesting experience for us, but at the same time, like I love how Nate put it, how anyone can make a difference, you know? And all it is taking taking a step. All it is doing something you might not be comfortable with at first, but when you take that step, you'll realize the impact you have on people's lives.
So you've been through this a couple of years now, actually being out there full time.
It is very humbling. You definitely get a new perspective on things that you're thankful for personally, and then really what the homeless population is going through. Because I think it's very easy, and we've both have seen it firsthand, for people just to look at a guy asking for money outside of a store and just be rude and, hey, get a job. It's that easy. No, and it's sad because a lot of these guys, like, you don't know their story. A lot of these guys have suffered through family loss. Like, maybe a couple family members that were close to them died within the same couple months, and then their life just spirals from there. Or they struggle with alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and things like that, or trauma can just completely switch someone's life in a week from being completely normal to being out on the street homeless.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I met a man who, it was March 2020 or 2021, and he was just telling me, I asked him, why are you out on the streets, or why are you in the soup kitchen today? And he just told me, he said, well, my mom died 6 months ago. He goes, then my sister died 2 months after that, and he goes, and I lost my job, and I'm just down. And he basically just told me everything hit him at once. Yeah. And he wasn't addicted to drugs. He didn't have an alcohol problem. He didn't have any criminal background or history or anything. He just simply, life hit him hard. And that story, I really liked it because we started to see his face a little more regularly at some of our opportunities where we feed the homeless and give food out. And I got to build a relationship with him and pray with him every time I saw him. And I remember the day where he's like, I got a job, I got an apartment, and his life turned around. And so, but being out there, it really does change your perspective. It shows you that it's not always, a drug addict that's homeless or an alcohol addiction that makes you homeless, but it's much more than just that. Our church is high on building relationships. We've been working in one neighborhood specifically for over 25 years. And there are grown men that know my dad since they were 5 years old, and now there's young kids looking up to me and know me, and we know their families, and a relationship is how you make an impact in a neighborhood, how you make an impact in a city. It's simply just showing them you're there for them, you're there to help anytime that they need it, and that's how it works.
No, yeah, I think it's really powerful building relationships with people, because our church is in a position where we have food to help families. Sometimes we even have furniture to give families and stuff. So I just love when you have those relationships with people, even if they're not coming to church, even if they're not that involved, as soon as something hits them, or as soon as they have a hard time, they're like, I can go to the Buffalo Dream Center. The Buffalo Dream Center, they love us, they want to help us, they want to give us stuff, and then that opens the door to sharing the love of Jesus with them, and just being a bigger part of their lives.
What's the game plan for this year?
Well, we got the whole week ahead of us, right? And so we have planning on going to soup kitchens, hanging out at some of the places we know where the homeless people like to stay and keep warm. So our goal is to just go into those areas and shine the light of Jesus, love on them. We have different things to give away to them. And then, of course, even during this week, our Box of Love does start. Like Tuesday we're bagging groceries that night, and we're also bagging groceries on Saturday, and we're just getting those bags of groceries ready to give to families, and wrapping gifts starts the next week. And so we got a lot going on this week, not just the homeless week, but we have a lot of our staff back at the church doing a lot of hands-on work, getting ready for Boxes of Love. So it's a busy week for sure.
Yeah, it probably started with just a couple hundred families, and now what are we doing, like 4,000 families? 4,000 families will receive groceries, and about 3,500 kids will receive presents. That's our estimated number, so that's definitely a big difference from the first year he started, but it's been awesome.
What's the big takeaway from what you learned all those years?
Yeah, what I learned, I don't want to repeat myself too many times, but I definitely can appreciate how lucky I am to have two loving parents that have raised me the right way and shown me Jesus, and they just were very loving and raised me the way that Christians are supposed to raise their kids. And I think we see that a lot in our work, working in the inner city, working with the homeless population. You find a lot of young men that did not have a good father figure in their life, and that affects someone's entire life. Kids need two loving parents in their lives, and I think that's so important. And just for the people that didn't have that, and the people that weren't shown that love, that when we do come to them and build these relationships with them, it's amazing how just sitting down and listening to a guy that no one likes him, no one talks to him, that everyone has a problem, just sitting down and listening to him for 10 minutes just changes his whole week, his month, might even change his whole year. Just he's like, wow, someone listened to me, someone was nice to me, someone cared about me. So I really, I don't know, I just look at people differently. I look at them more openly hearted. You can't be too close-minded with people, and just any opportunity to show somebody some love and show somebody that they matter is just awesome.
I guess similar to Nate is like you look at people differently, and I learned over the years that my dad always taught us, like, you're never too busy to meet a need of someone. Mm-hmm. And so that goes back to, you see the guy outside of a grocery store asking for money, and you're never too busy to stop and pray with him, ask him what he needs, and if you can meet the need, meet it. And but yeah, just I think the appreciation growing up, seeing how, meeting these people, hearing their stories at such a young age, growing up, you realize how fortunate you are for what you have, but also that if you have an abundance, that you can also give. And meeting people's needs, there's something about just meeting someone's need where they have a simple need and you're able to put that thing in their hand, or you're able to pray with them, and you can just see the joy come into their life, and honestly, Jesus' light shine in their heart, and it brings a feeling to you that is unexplainable. And just to know that, like, we're out there on the streets and we're raising awareness, but we're also bringing the love of Jesus everywhere we go, is really rewarding.
That's Nate and Alex Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center, carrying on what is now the 27th year of spending Thanksgiving week with the homeless on the streets of Buffalo, a legacy begun by their father, Pastor Eric Johns of the Buffalo Dream Center. Please join us again next time as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.